Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Deebo Samuel. Who's playing and who's not? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Smart Sports. I'm Jonathan, and in today's video, we are going over all of the injuries for Week 17 in the NFC. Let's get into it. So starting off, we have the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers close to the playoffs, but they're going to have a tough task this week against the Vikings, particularly with these injuries. Aaron Rodgers, the star quarterback, knee issues. We're told he's questionable. According to Adam Schefter, he will likely play this coming Sunday, which I'm sure is a relief. However, Christian Watson, hip, questionable. He did not practice on Thursday and only limited on Friday, so it's unlikely he'll be playing in his full capacity. Also, Keyshawn Nixon, groin, questionable. He did not practice. He's been great on returning punts and kicks for the last couple of weeks, so it is a critical blow that they're missing him. However, there is some good news. David Bakhtiari is back from his early December appendectomy. David Bakhtiari, great lineman, should be a big help for the Packers. Moving on to their opponents, the Vikings. Almost no starters out for them. Only one is the center, Garrett Bradbury. He has back issues. He won't be playing, but not many injuries. So injuries benefit the Vikings in that one. Now moving on to their divisional rival, the Lions. The Lions, their free safety, Deshaun Elliott, he's out. Their center, Frank Ragnow, is questionable with his foot. This is a Pro Bowler last year, second team All-Pro in 2020. Frank Ragnow, big blow to this Lions team trying to make a playoff push. Now we move on to the Bears. The Bears out of playoff contention. Almost you hope for injuries so you get a higher pick, but Chase Claypool had limited practice with a knee injury. Good news, though, Equanimeous St. Brown is slated to probably play. He's back from a concussion this week. By the way, before we get any farther, please like and subscribe. That really helps the channel out. We're trying to get to 25 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's get it. Moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Great spot, highest seed in the NFC right now. Lane Johnson's definitively out with groin issues. Also, cornerback Avonte Maddox also out. And then there's Jalen Hurts. According to Ian Rappaport, he's not expected. Gardner Minshew will start. It said that he's able to play, but they're worried he may fall on his shoulder, and they just want to save him for the playoffs. Maybe he'll be back next week, though. Moving to another team in the NFC, the Giants. Not a ton of issues here. Adoree Jackson is doubtful. And then cornerback, I'm going to butcher this, but Azeez Ojulari is questionable. But not that much for the Giants. I could see them making a playoff push, winning some games. Now moving on to the Commanders. Commanders really need to start winning. If they don't win out, they're not going to make it. Running back Antonio Gibson, he's not playing, which could mean more carries for Brian Robinson or his backup, but definitely a brutal blow. However, good news, Chase Young, the star defensive end, he's back from illness. He will play. Now also, another big thing, Cameron Curl, the strong safety, he's questionable. He's been having a great year. He's actually the third highest graded safety on Pro Football Focus. Cameron Curl, great safety. It would be a critical blow to lose him this week, so I'm sure they're hoping. And then Benjamin St. Justy, the cornerback, he did not practice on Thursday. He's questionable for Saturday's game, so we'll have to see how that goes. Now the 49ers in the NFC West, one of the top teams. They got to win. They're getting more healthy. Nick Bosa's back. He will play. Elijah Mitchell was called off the IR. However, he got some sort of sickness that's been going on around the locker room. He is maybe going to be back next week. He's the 8th and final player the 49ers have taken off IR this year. And then Deebo Samuel, one of the top wide backs, probably the only good wide back in the league. He's ruled out. He was practicing this week. Play the clip. But anyway, Debo practicing, maybe was going to be ready, won't be. He'll hopefully for them be back next week, which should be good for the playoffs as well. Now the Seattle Seahawks desperately clinging to that wild card spot. Tyler Lockett and Kenneth Walker III, the wide receiver and running back, both questionable, had limited practice on Thursday, so two important skill players. Lockett, of course, did not play last week against the Chiefs, so Seahawks fans definitely hoping to have them back. Now moving to the Rams, Aaron Donald hadn't missed a game in his whole career. He's been suffering from ankle injuries. He's likely not playing. He did not practice most recently. Then Tyler Higbee also had limited practice. He's questionable. And then Ben Skowronek, the receiver, is doubtful. I actually believe it was said, I think by Ian Rappaport, that he will not play. So Ben Skowronek out, Tyler Higbee questionable, Aaron Donald doubtful. Moving on to the Cardinals. The Cardinals against the Atlanta Falcons are going to get wrecked. Colt McCoy's out, Kyler Murray's out, of course, and then D-Hop's questionable. He had knee issues in practice this past week, so definitely some critical blows. Now the Bucs. The Bucs are in the brutal NFC South, and they're having issues, lots of injuries. Defensive tackle Vita Vea, wide receiver Julio Jones, defensive end Carl Nassib, left tackle Donovan Smith, cornerback Jamal Dean, strong safety Anton Winfield Jr., and free safety Mike Edwards are all questionable. Those are five or six starters, all questionable for the Bucs. Definitely critical blows there. And then cornerback Carlton Davis is doubtful. So that's a seventh starter. 7 starters for the Bucs are injuries. They've really been hampered by injuries, aging Tom Brady, fading O-line. But if they beat the Panthers, they're probably playoff bound. Moving on to the Saints. The Saints are really in a desperate spot here. They need to win out and get a lot of help. They actually can't get a wild card. They have to win the NFC South. So they're going to need some help from the Falcons, Panthers, and Bucs. Well, they need the Bucs to lose, but so they need Alvin Kamara. He is back, thankfully for them. However, Chris Olave with a hamstring is questionable, but potentially Marcus Lattimore coming back. He's been out since week 5. He's questionable. He had a light practice, but there's a chance Marshawn Lattimore can come back in. He's been out since week 5. Key cornerback on their defense, of course, Mike Evans. They always have that feud, so it could be very important for Marshawn Lattimore to have back. They're also missing left guard Andis Pete. He's out. Strong safety Marcus May is also out. And then linebacker Pete Warner is questionable. So definitely some injuries from the Saints that could cause some difficulties. Moving on to the Panthers, P.J. Walker is out for this game. He was the backup QB, which means we could have an interesting scenario. Sam Darnold's the only quarterback on the roster. So if he gets hurt, I'd probably say high likelihood of Johnny Hecker, the punter, coming in as QB. He's thrown a couple of fake punts in his career. So the Panthers in playoff contention, definitely hoping Sam Darnold doesn't get hurt. That would be a critical blow for their season. And then also cornerback J.C. Horn is out. And now the Atlanta Falcons. Marcus Mariota, of course, on IR. Desmond Ritter's our quarterback going forward. We're not in the playoff hunt, so I'm kind of hoping for a couple losses. I do want to beat the Cardinals, though. And then left guard Elijah Wilkinson's also out. So definitely sucks that the Falcons are out, but not that many injuries. We can definitely win these next few games. Anyway, thank you for watching. The AFC version of this video will be back up next time. Just remember one more time, be sure to like, subscribe. Thank you for watching Smart Sports, and I will see you next time. Peace.